This is the 2026 Toyota Grand Highlander Platinum. Is it worth your consideration? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. We're back at Yoakum Toyota for today's video. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. When you look at the front end, you know it's a Toyota, not only by that Toyota crown right here, but right down here, the large grille. Definitely no shortage of air going in for that 2.4 liter four-cylinder that's under the hood. You'll also find your front view camera right here. There's going to be cameras all around this Grand Highlander. We're going to have a few different finishes down here, but it's nice to not see an overload of gloss black here on this lower portion, so that works really well. As we work our way up, you're going to find your full LED lighting, LED headlights with the low and high beams, LED daytime running lights, and even though they're not on right now, we also have our LED fog lights down here, something that should make a lot of people very happy. This model is all-wheel drive, so very versatile in a multitude of ways. The wheel size is 20 inches. Tell me what you think. Some people say chrome is outdated, which is kind of an interesting thing to hear about. Some people tell me it's timeless. I'm curious to know what you think about that. Now, as we work our way up, we're going to find our body-colored mirror caps for the side view mirrors. The turn signal indicators are built in. They're heated. They're power adjustable. They're also power folding. Blind spot monitoring is built in right there. You can see that on the inside of the mirror. And then, kind of hard to see, but it's in this little protective bag here, you're going to have your key fob with lock, unlock, all those typical features you expect to see. It's small and easy to carry around. And then, something that I have to say I like here. Not only do we have the roof rails, but we already have the crossbars installed. So that's going to give you that extra cargo space when you need it. Nice large windows here. That's going to make it very easy to see out of. We'll work our way around. We're going to find LED taillights back here to finish things off. Our Grand Highlander logo doesn't stand out very well. Seems like that should maybe be a different color. Tell me what you think about that. You know it's a platinum trim level. There we go with the logo right there. And then our all-wheel drive logo is here. We're going to find our rear window wiper and the rear roof spoiler to finish things off, in addition to our shark fin antenna. On this particular model, you can tow up to 5,000 pounds. Under the hood is the turbocharged 2.4 liter four-cylinder engine. It puts out 265 horsepower and 310 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Top speed is governed to 113 miles per hour, and 0 to 60 is in about 7 seconds flat. How about your MPGs? You probably won't be able to see this on the window sticker, so I'm going to tell you what the numbers are. 20 city, 26 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. How about your gas tank details? Well, to open the gas door, you see the button on the interior right there. Then you're going to come right here and open that up. It's going to be 17.8 gallons in capacity. And how about your driving distance on a full tank of gas? Out on the highway, we're looking at 463 miles, 356 miles in the city, and a combined 392 miles. How about your cargo space? Well, there's multiple ways you can gain access to this area. Number one, there's the button on the remote. There's a button right here above the license plate bracket. It's going to be right here underneath the G. There's a button on the interior, or the easiest way is to just kick your foot under the bumper like that, and the power tailgate is going to open. Now, let me show you how to lower these seat backs down. We're going to use the release right here. That's going to lower that just like that. The headrest will fall flat as it's moving, and then we'll do the same thing right here. What about your numbers for cargo space? 20.6 cubic feet behind the third row. If you lower that third row down, it's 57.9. Your maximum is a very respectable 97.5 cubic feet of space. And we're going to have the lighting right here. Kind of an interesting place for that. Seems like that should be down here, but that may do a better job of illuminating this area than I think. Seems like there should be something in here, but there is not. You do have quite a bit of space back here, that's for sure. And one thing to note, if you need it, you've got the seat belt for the middle seat right here, but it needs to be out of the way to make it easier to fold everything flat. Let's talk about what your second and third row passengers are going to find. First of all, the nice large panoramic sunroof with that front portion that can open if you so desire. We also have the power shade that can be drawn back and forth if you need to conceal that away and keep all the sunlight from coming in. Maybe it's a little bit too hot. Let's talk about the door panel. We'll show you what's going on over there on the passenger side. It is nice and large, and I like that it's completely flat. A little bit of storage space in the front, and then we have the nice large door bin down below. Something else that we have here is going to be the shade right there. We can do this right here. You can put this in just like that. It is manual, but that's what we have. Now, there's a lot to talk about with these middle seats right here. We'll get back to that when we come back to this area, but the first thing I want to do is pull up on the release right here. That's going to be up on the top. That's how we gain access to the third row, and I will get back in here and show you what's going on where that is concerned. Now, the floor is a little bit high for my liking, but there is potentially a lot of leg space. The seats would normally come back to about right here, but I want you to notice something. Notice how far back I am reclined. So there's an answer to a question a lot of you have. Yes, these seat backs do recline. We'll have our roof-mounted air conditioning vents, something I really like a lot better than having them way down here in this area. There's a USB port. It's going to be right here. Kind of an unusual location for it, but actually I think that's a really good spot because it's a little bit easier to get to instead of being down in this area. You do have your cup holders right here, and overall quite a bit of space for your third row passengers. Let's talk about the functionality of these seats, and there's a reason for that because they're a little tricky if you're not used to them. First of all, let's talk about the release up here on the top. That is going to allow for moving the seat back and forth like this. Now, you might say, well, what do I do to move the seat back now? That front lever on the side is what you need to pull on, and that is going to allow for moving the seats back and forth and changing their position, putting them back in place. Now, that lever behind that, you'll notice that it has a 2 on it. Here is why that is there. To fold these seat backs flat, first of all, you have to do this. Then you pull on that lever down there with that 2 on it, and it brings the seats flat. Kind of an interesting little thing as opposed to just pulling on a release like we normally would. Now, that release on the side, you can move the seat back and forth like this, or you can fold the seat forward. It will also allow for reclining the seats. Now, I'm going to hop inside here, and we'll talk a little bit more about what we find. We'll close that door to try and get rid of some noise. There's actually a decent amount of space back here. I do wish the armrests were a little bit longer, but this is what we have. A lot of head space, nice view of the panoramic sunroof. That's always a nice thing. Then we're going to have our rear seat pockets. That's going to be the back of the driver and passenger seats. A little bit of storage space right here. At least that's what it looks like. It's a very small little area. You might put a bar of soap in there or something like that. It's almost what it looks like. But underneath that, we're going to have everything for our heated seats and, guess what, ventilated seats for your middle row passengers, and then everything for fan speed, temperature, all of your other controls that you need to manage the third zone of climate control back here is going to be here. We'll have our USB ports on each side, and then right down there, we're also going to have the power outlet. You'll also find the center console area. That's right here. A little bit of storage space on each side. Looks like it's perfect for a cell phone, cup holders, and more storage behind. How about the sticker price? $58,975. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on that price. Let's see what else you get for the price. We'll start with the upper console up here. And you're going to have quite a few different controls and features, as you can see. You can use the button right here to control the power shade. That's how you open and close the power sunroof. And you can see the other buttons that are here. Now, this will allow, when you open your doors, the lights come on. If you don't want them to come on when you open the doors, you can turn that off right there. We can turn our lights on right here. Pretty self-explanatory. There is a sunglass holder right here, which is always nice. We'll have our digital rear view mirror. If you don't like the digital rear view mirror, guess what? You can turn that off. You can also adjust everything depending on what you want to do. Here are your different settings depending on how you want to set things up, and you just touch the button right there to work your way over to whatever it is you're looking for, and there you go. You're good with that. Over here, we have our 3 buttons for home link. That's where that's located underneath on the bottom of the mirror right there. And we'll work our way over here to the dash area. You're going to have the nice little spot right here for a cell phone, whatever the case is, whatever will fit there, a USB port. And something interesting here, tell me what you think about this. Would you rather have a release where you pull it to the side or reach underneath and pull out like that? But there is your glove box area. Now we'll talk about the passenger side door panel. You can see a couple of the different finishes that we have here. We have plenty of room with the armrest and with the door bin. The driver and passenger seats are both power adjustable and are going to have lumbar support. And real quick, I'm going to grab the camera and we'll come over here to the driver's side. You will have seat memory over here only on the driver's side, but it is here. Controls for our side view mirrors. We can push the button right there and show you that these are indeed power folding side view mirrors. I didn't show you that earlier, but there you go with that. You can control your positioning, lock and unlock. You're going to have one touch down and one touch up windows at all 4 doors. You can lock or unlock the windows if you want to. And once again, the nice large armrest, door bin, all of that's going to be here. And then we have our heated steering wheel control right there. You can turn your auto high beams on and off. And there's that button I was telling you about earlier for opening and closing the power tailgate. Now, one thing I am surprised at for this being the platinum trim level is that you have a manually adjustable steering wheel. I'm glad it is adjustable. Tilt and telescopically. Everything here as far as your steering wheel mounted controls for your cruise control and managing the radio and all that good stuff will be here. We can also go through a lot of different information depending on what we want to know about with the controls right here. We can go in and select whatever it is we need to. We can come back out of that with the back button right there if we want to. Go back. We can go to our settings. We can make a lot of different changes here. It just depends on what you need to do. Here's where you're going to come to control your head-up display or your HUD. That is here. You can adjust that, obviously, depending on the positioning that you need. And you can see some of the other features and functions that are going to be here, just so you know what's going on. We'll also have our shifter paddles for the 8-speed automatic transmission for gearing up, gearing down. Your front and rear window wiper control right here. And here's where you not only control those turn signal indicators, the blinkers, but you also turn your fog lights on and you can turn your lights on. You can leave them on auto. Whatever you want to do with that, it will be done right there. Now, let's talk about our center screen. First thing we're going to see right here, the knob for controlling the volume and turning the radio on and off. You will have built-in navigation. You can come in here to music, phone, whatever you need to. Let's talk about what this area offers as far as the vehicle goes. Now, as far as climate goes, you do have physical controls, but you have some things you can do here too for front and rear. You can go into your options, whatever you need to do right there. We hit the back button to go back out of that. Trip information. Now that's got some good information here for you. Depending on what you need to know about, it's going to be here, give you some good details. You can go into history right here if you want to do that. There'll be more here than there is right now. Depending on how far you've driven, you can clear the data. You can update if you need to. And then we come back out of that and you can go to vehicle alert. Now there's no vehicle alerts right now, so you don't have to worry about seeing anything where that is concerned. We'll go into settings and just give you a quick little overview of what is here. Personal info, Bluetooth and devices, general notifications, Wi-Fi. You can see what all is here. Sound and media, I know that's something a lot of you like to look for. How about sound tuning? This is where you're going to find that. And here's where you adjust everything for the radio, depending on what you want to do. Also, if the sound is not balanced or in the areas where you want it, this is also where you will come to do that. And then we can come back here and go to media. You're going to have that right there depending on what you need to do. And we'll come back out of settings and just run through a couple of different things here just to show you what's going on. If you need to do your software update, that's where that's going to happen. Now, coming down here to our controls for the dual zone climate control here in the front. You can sync everything together if you want to. You can change the temperature, whatever you need to do, you can set that up, and it's not going to be a problem whatsoever. And you'll have everything here for your front and rear window defoggers. All of that will be here. You'll also have, just like we did in the rear, we're going to have our 3 stages of heated seats and 3 stages of ventilated seats. Your hazard light button will be right here. As we work our way down, here is the button for turning the engine on and off. our wireless charging pad, USB connectivity, and all of that will be here. Now I'm going to push this button and we'll go back to the center screen and show you what's going on there. Let's go back to the screen. There we go. And you have a couple of different views here depending on what you want to see. This is our overhead view. We can come right here and see the view where the hood and all of that is gone. Just gives you a little bit better perspective of what you have around you. Now when you go into reverse, your rear view camera will come on. So you can see that. You also have that overhead view. You could hitch up to a trailer very easily like this. And when we go into drive, you can see that the front view camera is going to come on. So you do have all those cameras, as I mentioned earlier in the video, all around this Grand Highlander. Now, something else that I know a lot of you like is the absence of a push button shifter. You have your conventional style shifter here, park, reverse, neutral, and drive. If you want to drive in manual mode and use the shifter to gear back and forth, gearing up, gearing down, you just move that over to the left just like that, and you're good to go for those who would like to do that. A little bit of storage space in front of the cup holders, and our cup holders themselves are here. We'll also have our power parking brake. We're going to have brake hold mode right here. If you want to turn that auto stop start feature off or on, it's right here. Your traction control is here. And how about our drive modes? There are a few different options here. As you can see, depending on what you want to do, you've got your mud and sand, you've got the rock and dirt, eco. You can see what all is here, whether it's sport mode, whatever you need to do. And it will actually go through some graphics here on the driver's display. We'll show you that real quick just to show you what's going on. Nothing major. They're going to be about the same, just different words on there depending on what you want to go with. We've got that. There's eco. And then we also have our normal mode. If you want to take advantage of normal mode, there that is. And depending on your situation, you can choose that. We're also going to have the button right here for normal if you want to use that. Snow mode is there. So a little bit of everything for every driving situation. Now, I do like the fact that unlike the back seats, you have a little bit more armrest space here because you mainly use this area as an armrest for the center console lid. Now, for the center console itself, we can open that up right there and take advantage of the space within. Let me pull this out just so you can see a little bit more of what's in there. A decent amount of space. As we get ready to start our test drive, I did want to show you one more feature. When you drive up to a vehicle or something that's going to be in front of you that you need to see so you don't hit anything, just as a little added safety feature, you'll see that the camera view will come up on the screen. Okay, here we go on our test drive. One of the big advantages here is that it doesn't really matter where you live. If you go with this Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive, you're going to have the advantages of all-wheel drive for snow and ice or any other situation where you might need it. I know a personal friend of mine who lives in Colorado in the mountains. If you don't have a four-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive vehicle, getting up to his house from the road, because the road or the driveway is so steep, you have to have all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive to do that, so that would be an advantage here. A comfortable ride quality. These seats are very comfortable for the driver and passenger up here. I can't necessarily tell you how comfortable the second and third row seats are as far as being out on the road. Overall, they're comfortable, but as far as the ride quality goes in those areas, well, kind of hard to tell you when I'm here by myself making the test drive. And it has decent acceleration. It's not meant to be high performance or anything along those lines. It has good acceleration for what it is. It seems to get down the road without any trouble. It will get up to speed when you need to, and you have your different driving modes depending on what you need to do. How about the turning radius? We're going to take a quick look at that. There you go, a nice tight turning radius. That's actually not too bad for this size of SUV. Now I'm getting on the pedal a little bit and I'll let you listen. Now we're not on a really bad road surface, so depending on the road surface you're on, the exterior noise coming into the cabin may vary a little bit. And if you heard that little shaking sound, that's actually on the camera itself, so that's not anything to do with this Grand Highlander. But overall, I'd say the road noise is not bad, and everything is easy to get to. I like that as far as the controls go. Nice to have the physical controls for the air conditioning, all those good things are here. And it's easy to adjust the driver's position to whatever you need it to be. Between the steering wheel and the driver's seat, a lot of adjustability built in here. The gas pedal and the brake pedal, very easy to manage. Definitely what I would say is a very versatile vehicle in a multitude of ways, depending on what you need to do, whether it's hauling people around or cargo. You can tow a little bit with it. 5,000 pounds is not an insane amount of weight, but you can tow a little something if you need to. And overall, it's a very well-balanced vehicle that's going to get the job done for you. And there it is, the 2026 Toyota Grand Highlander. Is it worth your consideration? Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments section. I would like to say a special thanks to our friends at Yoakum Toyota for loaning us this Grand Highlander for the day so we could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful to us. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and we'll see you there.